Mirror Engine Alpha v3 is released. Let's dive in. What you'll notice first of all is this new assets side over here. These are the assets that are in game. This is a very important point, is that assets are actually per game. You might have seen this in the documentation side. We want you to be able to use that asset in the game, obviously, but then use that in other games as well. For example, this land material that we have, it's kind of a dirt sand, has some dead grass in it. If you use that in another game and then you change that asset, well, we're going to run into issues there. So very importantly, you can copy assets to games. They are per game though. And then of course you can pull in updates to that asset from the parent asset if you so desire. So we can open up the land material here. This has a good few things that come with it. Materials are, you can think of them like containers for how something appears in world. I just created this box here. If I go over here and click this side right here, this controls how it's rendered in world. Right now it's just a box, or it can be a sphere, capsule, whatever you wish. We're going to select a material, and just for this example, we're actually going to apply the same land material. Now you'll quickly notice that, oh boy, that looks awful. And why is that? Well, actually, let's zoom in very closely. The reason is because the UV mapping is off. If that's new to you, don't worry. That's essentially how it's translated onto the cylinder. It's the engine asking, okay, we have a texture, like we have this color texture here, and this is ground 71 copy. This is part of the mirror library with thousands of assets available to you. If you want to apply that, like, all is well and good, but notice this tiling down here. We have the UV offset, we have the UV tiling. Again, if you're new to game dev, I'll keep on giving you these pointers here, which is totally cool if you're new to it. UV does not mean ultraviolet, it just means 2 coordinates, and the only reason it's UV is because it's not XYZ. If we go to the bottom right here on this transform side, we have position, rotation, and we have scale. All pretty straightforward, and if we modify those, that'll do that all in real time. This is all synced multiplayer, so you can be building this world together with friends. XYZ coordinates of this shape that we have, for example. What we can do then is go back to this UV tiling or this UV offset. I'm going to just change this tiling to something that sounds more sane, like 1. Notice very quickly that did that for both the ground that we are on here, this land. That actually looks a bit better. I think the default tiling that we have for the mirror library asset is off there, but it's all right. We'll take suggestions and make improvements. Boom, the changes to the material are automatically applied both to this entity that we created in world. We'll just go over here and we'll name this box example. You can also rename an entity up here. We'll have some exclamation marks because we're really excited about this. So you can also do things like rotation, and then we are rotating that material. Again, very importantly, notice that we're rotating the material and it applies to both the box right there and to the entire land, because our big piece of land here is this same material. So good thing to note there. If you're new to game development, you'll notice that we've placed a good amount of info buttons around. Hopefully this is helpful. You can click any of these or just hover over it, and we'll give you a quick description of what this is, why it's there, and if there's anything you have in mind that you'd like to request, just click this quick request on X button. That'll just draft a tweet, a post to us, and we'll respond to all those, and we read everything you send us. So appreciate all your feedback. We dove right into materials right there, but let's get a bit deeper. So you can close this window over here on the left, and that'll stay there. This is more for in-game assets, your assets, which are used across games, and the marketplace. So I'll just close this as we are modifying this land material we have here. Let's up the tiling a bit to 3. Maybe we'll get something better there. Maybe even 10. We can just play with this a bit. That's what I encourage you to do. Just have fun with it. Go where your imagination takes you. Mirror your dreams. Have some fun. Obviously, this tiling won't work for just the land and this box exactly. A couple of things that we can do. I've gone ahead and changed our land material back to 450 UV tiling because that looks a bit better. Of course, our box is not looking good, so let's go to the marketplace over here. Mirror Library has thousands of assets available. A lot of materials and textures right now with more to come. What do we want to add? We're building a world with some ground. Let's look and see what we have in rocks. This brings up a ton of textures, and we'll touch more on this shortly, go a lot more in depth. But let's just filter by materials here, click that, and ooh, we might have some good stuff here. You won't see this applying in world onto this box. The way you do that is just click the material. We'll take this rock 13, click add to game. And now when you go over here to in game, let's go back over here, just needed to refresh. Now that rock is showing up, go to the render side for this box. Now what you can do is just click this material drop down, and we're gonna apply this rock material. Boom. We can have some fun with that. So now we're starting to actually have a bit of a better world come together, and Obviously we don't have much more than just this sphere right here. Let's go over to the transform menu and we'll just scale this up. We'll do 3 all around. Hopefully get something that kind of starts to look like a boulder. Maybe we'll get there. It won't be too optimized, but hey, we're just having fun. This is just a tutorial, and I hope you can make some cool stuff with it. Let's go back to our UV mapping over here. Do the tiling actually. I'm gonna double that tiling. Go to 2. Oh, that's 12. Let's go to 2 here. All right, I'm kind of liking this. This illustrates an important point here. We searched the marketplace, we found a material there, and we added it to the game. And that's very important because if you go to another game, once again, assets are per game. So let me pull up another game real quick. I'll just click the mirror logo here, go to home, and I'll start a new game. All right, so I've just created a new game here. This is called Dent Crane. All the names are random right now, including the land material, which you can just easily modify if you go over here. Of course, if we filter by material for in-game, we only have this current land material. If we go to my assets, then we can go and see what other assets we've used in other games, or perhaps got off the marketplace, purchased them, imported them. And if we want to say, well, let's take this rock 13 that we've been messing with elsewhere. Very importantly, take a look at this bottom right on land material and notice this green check mark. That tells you that this material is already here in game. So kind of a good easy rule of thumb while you're browsing my assets. We may add some change, some polish to this UI, but that's a good helpful rule of thumb right now. So what I need to do, because this rock 13 material is not in game, I'm just going to click add to game and boom. Now if I go back over here on our game here, here's some of the materials I added, textures, all that. We just have this rock 13 material, the copy that's now available. And so I'll call this just new mod, for example. And I can go over here to color. And if you're new to materials, don't worry, we'll dive in even deeper on this between color and normal, emissive, specular, gloss, height, ambient inclusion, metal, roughness, glow. You name it. We've got a lot of stuff, a lot of cool things. Don't worry, we'll help you out here. Just worry about color right now. That's the only thing you really need to be concerned about. If you're new to game development, that's totally fine. It's just how it appears. Quite simply, if you're more technical, may also be known as diffuse or albedo, depending on your exact material workflow. We just use color for simplicity here, but we do note that it's diffuse, and you can always hover over this info button for some more information there. So now that I have this asset selected and the asset is in this game, I can go over here to the bottom right, select material, now add this new rock 13 material mod. Cool, looking good there. And let's do something funky. Change this, say, just to a red, for example. It doesn't really look that good. We can do better. But point is just to show that this is a bit different here. What we'll do now is we'll go back to our original game. Now, very importantly, notice that in our original game, there were no modifications done to that red modification. What we can do then is go over to, we had this new mod that we created. This, that's a bug right there with the thumbnail again, so don't worry about that. We can just add that to game then, and that'll be copied over. And we'll add a workflow in the future so that the materials can be updated from their original one. And that way you can modify things independently or keep them the same. Got a few options there for what you wish, more info to come. So with that, thank you so much for your time. We hope this was helpful, dipping your toe in the water a bit with asset management in Mirror Engine. We have a lot more material to come, a lot of cool things, a lot of cool features. Let us know what you think. Be sure to subscribe, and happy building. Cheers.